We are going to use this equation to fill out the table, and then we're going to plot the points over on the right-hand side. So the directions say complete the table below and plot the points on the graph to create the line. The part that is given to us is the equation, and then we have all of these numbers in the x column. So each of these numbers in the x column is going to be replaced for this x, because so we can take out this x and then replace it with one of the numbers. The first one's done for us, so we're having 1/3, and remember that this number and a letter right next to each other means that they're multiplied. So we would take 1/3 times -6. If you don't know that on the top of your head, you can use a calculator, but it's going to equal -2. So in my coordinate x comma y, I'm going to take my x number, and I'm going to take my y number, and I'm going to make my coordinate point. My coordinate point is then going to be plotted over in this graph. So I'm going to start at 0, 0. I'm going to go to the left for -6, all the way to -6, and then I'm going to go down to -2. So this is my first point. All right, so let's do the second one. The second one, I know that I have to use 1/3. I know I'm going to multiply by my x value. My x value is -3. So 1/3 times -3 is -1. My coordinate is -3 comma -1 for my x number, and then I use my y number. So when I plot it, I'm going to start at 0, 0. My -3 tells me that I need to go to -3 here, and then I'm going to go down to -1. So that's my next point. All right, I'm going to continue the process. I'll have 1/3. I'm getting the 1/3 from my equation. My x value, my new number, is going to be 0. So I'm going to multiply by 0. Well, anything times 0 is 0. Then my coordinate, my x value is 0. My y value is 0. So I would have a coordinate point of 0, 0. 0, 0 is just the origin, so I'll put a point at the origin. All right, next one. Again, I'm going to take my equation, 1/3, and I'm going to multiply it by the number that's given to me in my x column, which is 3. So 1/3 times 3 is just a plain 1. And then I'll take 3 and 1 and make that into a coordinate point. So then I'm going to plot this coordinate point at 3, 1. And my next one. My next one is going to be 1/3, and my final number that I'm going to plug in for x is 6. So 1/3 times 6, I can type that into my calculator, but it's going to be 2. My x value is 6. My y value is 2. So that's my new coordinate point that I'm going to plot. So I'm going to go over to the 6, and I'm going to go up to the 2. When I have all my points plotted, I should connect them, and then they should make a straight line. So it should look something like this. The next one is the same idea, it just has a different equation. So same table outline, we have some different numbers for our x value, and then we also have the same graph that we're going to plot. So the first one's done for us. My equation is y equals -2x. So remember that whenever I have a number and a letter next to each other, that means that they are being multiplied together. So I took -2 and I multiplied it by my x value, which is -3. So -2 times -3, again, use a calculator if you can't think of it, but it should be +6. And this is wrong right here. So this coordinate point should be -3, 6. -3, 6. So my next one is going to be starting off with -2. I'm going to multiply it by my x value. My next x value is negative 1. So negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. So my coordinate point, my x value is negative 1. I'm going to have a comma, and then my y value is 2. So I'm going to plot these 2 points. My first one was negative 3, 6. So it goes way up here. My next one was negative 1 and then 2. Next number for x is going to be 0. So negative 2 times my x value is going to be 0. So it's going to be 0. So my coordinate point is just going to be 0, 0 again. So my coordinate would land at the origin point. All right, next one is negative 2. I'm going to multiply it by my new x value, which is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. So my coordinate point is going to be positive 1, comma, negative 2. So I'll go ahead and plot that one. So I start at 0, 0. I'm going to go over to 1, and then I'm going to go down 2 numbers. So that is my next point. And then my last one is going to be negative 2 times 3. Negative 2 times 3 is going to be a negative 6. So my coordinate point is going to be 3 as my x, and then my y value is going to be negative 6. So 3, negative 6. I'll go over to the 3 and then down to the 6, so it should be right about here. Then when I connect them, if I got it right, it should be a straight line.